Hey, yo, pineapple in the building, literally. So we are going to get into a couple of topics that one of my faves has suggested for me. And we're also going to get into this week's Crumbl cookie edition. We got 2 New York cheesecakes simply because cheesecake is good, so why not have 2? And we got 1 guava cake. And we have 1 brown sugar cinnamon cookie that's brought to you by Pop-Tart or featured Pop-Tart. So we're gonna get into how the New York cheesecake tastes really quick. And no, we're not gonna eat all whole of the cookies, all 4 of them in one day. Of course not, why would we do that? This is the New York cheesecake. Honestly, you can't go wrong. It's a cheesecake. Of course it's good. Now, we're gonna try the guava cake.
I have to get both waters.
Thank you. That guava cake, it left me speechless, as you've seen. Now, I love cheesecake, but that guava cake is delicious. Now we're gonna try the brown sugar cinnamon cookie that's got some Pop-Tart in it. Let's see. Okay, do you have some in your black one?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go grab your black one.
Okay.
Brown sugar cinnamon. Mmm. That one's pretty good. Mm-hmm. That one is pretty good. Now, just because I love cheesecake, of course I have to have a second. And the cheesecake cookie, it's cold, it's chilled.
Where's your water bottle?
I don't know, I gotta find it.
Okay.
And then 1 more of the guava, just because it's so delicious. Mmm. Ciao. Anyway, you guys, let me not delay this process of the video, okay? So, the topics that we will be discussing today. By the way, I'm trying a new wine. This one is called 19 Crumbs. It's a 2021 Cabernet Sauvignon. So only 2 years old. Peep. I just found it at Walmart yesterday. Kind of interested in becoming a wine connoisseur, not a drunk. There is a difference. So I'm wanting to learn the different notes and tastes of wines and what pairs good with what and how it ages and things like that. So I've been just trying to try different types. Right now, I've been linked into the Cabernet Sauvignons pretty well. Just trying different variations of the Cabernet. So let's see how this 19 Crumbs tastes while we dig into our 2 topics today. Brought to you by one of my dear sweet faves on Twitter. So, our first topic is how to deal with toxic relatives. I'm sure all of us can relate to having a toxic relative at some time. This happens to be a very good topic. So, but all those topics that y'all suggest are good. Actually, no, let me take that back. Some of the topics that some of my faves suggest are off the wall and just kind of But this is a good topic. So, how to deal with fake relatives. Not fake relatives, toxic relatives. That's enough, right? So, dealing with toxic relatives isn't always easy. It can be very frustrating. It can be very draining. Quite honestly, I'll give you a piece of advice or just a little bit of insight of things that I've done on how to deal with toxic relatives. Ooh. "19 crumbs." It tastes like 19 crumbs. Don't put your hands in your hair. You're eating a cookie. Don't get all this stuff in your hair. Dealing with toxic relatives. How I've dealt with toxic... Cover your nose when you sneeze. Go wipe your nose off. Kids don't ever cover their mouth or nose whenever they sneeze. They just be sneezing on whatever they want to, I swear. But dealing with toxic relatives, how I have done it in the past and recently. So, I'm sorry. Let me finish this. So what I've done before is just like, the main priority is to protect your peace. Ideally, we want to get along with all of our relatives, but sometimes it's just not going to happen. Whether it be a sibling, your cousin, an aunt, an uncle, grandparents, maybe even your parents. Your priority is to protect your peace. Try to stay unified. I guess I could say really unity is the priority, but you still have to protect your peace. And sometimes you have to learn to love people at a distance, and that's okay. That is fine. Because sometimes some people just cannot change. They won't change. They cannot be changed. They can't be helped. You can only help people that want to change or that want help. Okay? So if you've got some toxic family members and they're constantly talking crap about you or your business or your household, basically gossiping about you or talking down on you, talking negatively, I mean, you have to think first off, okay, is this true? Because sometimes people just don't want to hear the truth. But then again, everybody, even though we're family, needs to mind their own business. Okay? So unless you're in the household, that business, that household is no concern of you or what they're doing. It's not. If it's not harming you or harming the children in that household, you need to mind your business. I'm just saying. And so, as far as like relatives calling you or texting you, I'll say this. I'm not about to be bothered with somebody else's business. That's none of my concern. It's not paying my bills. It's not putting food on the table. It's not putting money in my pocket to worry about somebody else's business that's not in my household. All it's doing is giving you something to... It's not going to rip. It's not. Those aren't the right ones. They're different. Okay. All it's doing is giving you something to worry about. And you know what worry is? Worrying is like a rocking chair. Okay? It's a rocking chair. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere. And what's the point of moving if you're not going anywhere? It's pointless, right? Pointless. Are you done? Mm-hmm. It's pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, make sure you put your fork in the refrigerator, in the sink.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So, what I personally have done in the past, and I see nothing wrong with it, I had somebody just really stress me out. Stress me smooth out. I'm talking about I was on blood pressure medication for a little bit. I was on anxiety medication for a little bit because People were blowing up my phone about everybody else's business, and I'm just like, worry about what's going on in your house. Pray for peace. Pray for stability and peace in your mind, because you can't control what they're doing. We all grown now. So after telling that person time and time again to worry about your own business, control your own household, stop letting what other people do affect you, I've had enough of it, because once it starts affecting you, hey, I need you to turn that down some. Hello, Oliver. Get that white remote and turn that down some, please. Yeah. Get that white remote. Let me see. Thank you. There you go. Okay, so what I've done, because it is not like me to be on high blood pressure medication. It's not like me to be on anxiety medication. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have cardiovascular problems, and I don't have anxiety. So when I started getting all those things, it started really messing with my spirit, y'all. It's not healthy. Worry, stress, it will kill you. It will kill you. Cut it off. Cut it off. So what I did, y'all, I seriously had to pray, like, God, if I'm wrong in doing this or the way I'm doing this, forgive me. I changed my number. I didn't give nobody my phone number. Literally. I did this back in May or June of this year. I changed my phone number. I had already had it changed, but I had changed it again just because the people that had it, I did not feel like dealing with them anymore. And even if I would have blocked their number, I didn't want them to try to call me from a different number or home number. I did not want to have anything to do with people blowing up my phone about tedious, messy, gossiping family stuff. I didn't want that. So when I changed my number earlier this year, I only gave it to certain people. I made sure to keep it private. Made sure to. And like, I'll still have those certain family members on social media, but the contact with them and them with me is very minimal, if anything at all. So it's not like, because I don't answer calls on social media, period. Don't call me on Facebook Messenger. Don't call me on Snapchat. Don't call me on nothing if you don't have my phone number. Don't do it. I protect my peace. You got to. It's a priority. And so just dealing with some people, whether you've grown up with them or not, sometimes you just can't deal with family. And yeah, it's true, you know, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, separate family members. You have to pray for their peace and protection as well, because that same spirit that's in them, they're trying to put that on you. And how do I say this shortly? Misery loves company. We've all heard that. It's true. One person miserable needs somebody else to spread that fire to and that smoke, so you can get all fired up and riled off about it, so that way they feel better about what they're talking about and combust. Nobody needs that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Life is too short. Too short. So you literally have to tell them and put it out there like, I love you, but I'm going to love you from a distance because this relationship is not working. Okay. I will see you around if it comes to that, whenever. And who knows, maybe by the next time they have changed their ways and they're more peaceful, and maybe you have just shut down yourself and just don't want to have contact with them at the end of the day, ever. Sometimes it's like that. Or sometimes you only want to speak to them if it's about a certain situation or emergency situation. Sometimes it's like that too. But you know, it's not about holding a grudge or being mad. It has nothing to do with that at all. Forgive them for the way that they are. Forgive yourself if you feel like you might have harmed them by cutting them off or feeding them with a long handle spoon, because some people are very sensitive and they take being loved from a distance very sensitive, very personal, which, I mean, you should take it personal. If someone that is family has cut you off and is just kind of loving you from a distance, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, because it's a chance that some other family members might feel the same way. And it's a wonder why some people are alone or super distant from everybody else. It is what it is. But what I've also discovered is, although, say, for instance, I might be kind of by the wayside, some other people, cousins, are by the wayside as well. And that's okay. We all have our own individual little families. Or even before I had my son, I wasn't at every single function. So it's just like some people are just out living their lives, and that's fine. But that's how you can deal with toxic relationships with family members. Once you bring it to their attention, if this is how you're being and I want to be no longer part of this, whatever way that they respond to it is what it is. Because at that point, you've already made your decision. I mean, if they don't change the way that they are and you constantly notice this pattern of behavior, at a certain point, they're just not going to change. You got to pray for them and move on with your life. And that's okay. Pray for God to continue to bless them with their healing and move on. Next topic is when to move out of your parents' house and get established on your own. That one's a really good one too. This would go really good with a steak, I think. Anyways, when to move out of your parents' house and get established on your own. So I know some people moved out of their parents' house or got kicked out of the parents' house early, like 16, 17. I didn't actually move out of my mom's house until I was 20. I can't remember if I was in the nursing program or getting out of the nursing program or going into it. One of the two. But I moved out of my mom's house when I was 20 years old. I felt like it was time to. Between 20 and 21, I was just like, okay, there goes my teenage years. I'm out. It's time for me to get established on my own. Really, it's something that you have to have mentally. Some people aren't ready to get out of their parents' house and out from underneath their wing. And sometimes you might not ever be ready to mentally. It depends on what type of person you are. And I say that try to with discretion, because not everybody's mentality is the same. I started working when I was 15 years old, and I wanted to instantly get my own money, get my own everything. I got a car with my dad's help, of course. I couldn't get a car at 15 years old by myself, but it was a cash car. My car after that was a car that I actually paid the note on. I was 16, 17 years old paying a car note, y'all. I wanted to do that. My dad helped me get my second car, and I told him, I want to pay the car note on it. Give me some, because I was working. I was on my grind. I had always had 2 jobs, okay? I'm a hustler. I'm a grinder. I get that from my daddy. My mama was a hustler too. She always kept a job. But my daddy, multiple hustles, baby. Multiple hustles. Got to get that Skrilla. So I grew up a hustler. My grandma taught me how to save money, work hard for it, do what you do. And to always, keep your own everything. And I was very grateful for that being instilled in me in a young age. And so growing up, I wasn't in a hurry to get out of my mom's house. I was driven. I was determined to try to save up, to try to make the right move. And so I actually, because it's hard, starting from nothing but what you have in your room, it's hard. You got to get living room furniture. You got to get spices and sugar and stuff like that in your kitchen. If you cook, I cook, okay? And so getting all those things is expensive. And for some folks, even a real bed. Now, I've had a real bed always growing up, but it's just like Some people don't. Okay, I'll just put it like that. Some people grow up on an air mattress and they just stay on that. And I mean, it is what it is. You got to hustle, you got to grind and get yourself some better stuff, and that's okay. So I was able to take my bed, my dresser, my stuff that I had in my room, and that was it. So what I did, because saving up for all those things that I wanted and desired was it's expensive, especially for that first month. When you move out, you got to have your depending on where you go, your first month's rent, your last month's rent for the end of your lease, and then get prepared to deal with bills. Now, I was already prepared for bills because I was familiar with paying them. I had already been paying on my car insurance, my car note, and I was already paying my own cell phone bill as well. And, excuse me, from time to time, I would help my mom pay bills, okay? Like I said, I had multiple hustles. You got to have multiple hustles. So I was able to help my mom with bills, and that's cool. So when I moved out, I wanted to have living room furniture and get everything in my apartment established so that way I would feel comfortable. And I mean, if you don't do that, then that's fine. If you want to just take step by step, then that's cool too. It's whatever. It's up to you. Now, even though I was working 2 jobs, it's still expensive, like I've said before, over and over again. So what I did, I had my my student loan and grants from school. I put it to use. After I got my books and stuff like that, after I got my books and stuff and tuition was paid, I had enough left over to make a move. So I picked out an apartment. I picked out a place where I could go get furniture on. Ivan Smith here in Tyler. I got my very first furniture set from them. And I wanted to also establish some credit. So what I did was I got a furniture set from them that was like a rent to own. Like, people are familiar with Rent-A-Center or Aaron's, but like, so you're paying on the furniture every month until you own it. Okay. And then that also helped build up my credit. They're on my credit to this day with the furniture being paid off from a decade ago or so. So that's really cool. And I wanted to do that. And so, like I said, I put my money to use from my student loans and school money. I did that. I bought the stuff for my kitchen. I made sure I fixed my living room up all sexy, just how I wanted to. But that's how I did that. Now, everybody doesn't have that opportunity to use student grants or student loans to help fix up their apartment or even move out. Some people are, or what they feel like, stuck. But I say you have to start saving up. If you're living in your parents' house and they're not requiring you to pay bills, you need to save. You need to save. Like, all this partying every weekend, it's not worth it when you want to move out and you still hadn't moved out by the time you're 35 or 40 and you have nothing to show for it and you're still at your mom's or grandma's house. I'm just saying, if you really want to move out, you got to have that mentality and be on your grind and want more and better for yourself. The right time to move out is when you mentally feel like you're ready, and that when you're financially ready as well. Because you don't want to move out and end up back at home within 6 months or less. You planned and failed miserably. And the thing is, like, I've actually seen that happen before, where people will plan or move out and they don't have their own place for over a year. They didn't plan it right. You got to be dedicated to yourself. Like I keep saying, it's a mental thing. It's a mentality thing. You got to be well mature. You got to be organized, because you're going to have to figure out what the heck to do when you go from paying no bills or very minimal bills to paying all these bills. Electricity, water, internet, cable or satellite, your phone bill, car note if you got it. And granted, not all those places you have to pay all of that. But I'm just saying, because I mean, there are some places where you have all bills paid, and those are cool. This isn't really the right wine for these cookies, though. I'm still gonna drink it, but I need a sweeter wine for those cookies. But it's just some wine to try. Just experimenting. But it's all up here, man. It's all up here. Just like with dealing with toxic relatives, it's all up here. And how you handle yourself accordingly, how you move, how you have your being. You got to be on your game. Okay? So, dealing with toxic family members, maintain your peace, love from a distance, make yourself clear. When's the right time to move out? When you're mentally straight up here and financially secure in them pockets. Have you a plan? Have a job. Have a steady job. Have some grinds. Doesn't hurt to have more than one job. Doesn't hurt at all. Extra money never hurt nobody. But you got to be on your game. And that's it, y'all. I'm about to finish the rest of this little cookie. Maybe. Hop in the shower and bake some chicken. Pineapple out.